we usually have the same slides about KNIME almost all the time. So I thought I'd try to mix it up a little bit and focus on the integrations that KNIME and ChemAxon present. So first of all, you know, the one that we always talk about every single year is the JChem extensions for KNIME. What's also nice is that ChemAxon also comes to the KNIME user group meetings we used to have a partner sessions, and Taka or I would always talk about the JChem extensions for KNIME. Yeah, that's everybody knows that, hopefully. And there's two other things that I wanted to mention. One is that Marvin.js is available in the KNIME server web portal, which allows you to add this versatile, familiar, and friendly chemical sketcher for a guided analytics application in the browser. So if you want to build an application for your end-user chemists using KNIME workflows, then you can put their favorite chemical sketcher in there. And the other topic, which I think is actually somewhat more interesting, is how you can extend ChemAxon applications via KNIME workflows. There was a workshop in Birmingham, which Akos did, who I can't see right now, just a couple of weeks ago, and we did a quick example of how you could use a KNIME workflow to extend the functionality of Marvin Live there. And obviously the advantages are that you can choose the best of breed components, so you can, ChemAxon's great for a lot of things, but it doesn't do, for example, docking and some of the more heavy lifting 3D chemistry bits. Neither does it do, let's say, machine learning, so you can augment your cheminformatics or research IT applications using KNIME workflows in such ways. And you would build those KNIME workflows in the AP, in the analytics platform, and deploy them via the KNIME server's REST API. And this is really easy to do. You can see that this one's done by Greg, who I guess anybody in cheminformatics probably knows to some extent, so Greg Landrum. Basically, you create a workflow, you move it to the server, you right-click on that workflow, and you get an API definition which is automatically generated using Swagger. So anybody who's got a reasonable understanding of web services that can then integrate this into whatever application they're building. And so the example that Akos showed, this is a slide directly stolen from Akos, so thanks Akos for that. It's basically an integration where you can define some rules that you want to apply in KNIME. You move that workflow to the server, you create a plugin for Marvin Live, and then as soon as you draw the structure, it's automatically shown here. And I particularly like this slide because I had to put this here, because it's Greg, and you know what type of node that is, so I didn't really want to show that here. But this is just a sample workflow that Greg built here that does the calculations, the RIOS and the pains matches, and then returns that in containers. These are the containers that you need for the KNIME workflow to consume inputs and then produce outputs as a RESTful web service. So that's the background to it that was used in the previous Marvin Live example. And then there's one kind of technical slide. At all our KNIME summits, we have a lot of technical stuff. But this is just an interesting thing to note that, right, if you're deploying a web service that's going to be used by a lot of users, you're going to run into the potential problem that your server gets overloaded. And the way we're trying to tackle that with the KNIME server now, to make it more enterprise ready, is that there is a central server part that does all the user management and sort of orchestration bits. Stores the workflows, and we're using a RabbitMQ to then distribute the execution of those workflows to numerous executors. If you're thinking about deploying in AWS, you can scale these executors more or less automatically. So you can just have a single executor that keeps on running when there's a low usage of the server, and as it scales up, you keep adding executors. And if you're using flexible pricing in AWS, you're actually paying only for the capacities that you're using at any point in time. That's basically all I wanted to talk about. Thanks a lot for having me here again, and I'll be around this afternoon a bit and tomorrow morning as well. So if you have any questions, let me know.